How goes it again, friends? Thank you for joining us back on. As you've seen, our one of our
Jesus.
co-hosts tried to jump in while he's driving, and he completely Shanghai nooned us, and
He
we
annihilated
got
us.
we got kicked off, and well, we're back.
In the
So
middle of the greatest story in the entire world.
exactly, and we had 6 viewers going on, and then Terry comes in like a fucking
Fucking
tornado
wrecking
in a
ball.
goddamn
Jesus.
mobile home park and fucking
Damn.
destroys. Yeah, he just fucking destroyed everything.
That was some
But
shit.
hey, what are you gonna do? The show rolls on. We're back at it. We're back live. So it doesn't really matter. I mean,
Yeah, don't worry. He's been banned, blocked, and deleted from every social media I have now.
he should be. He should be because he is a ridiculous human being.
Like,
And
who drives down the freeway and tries to broadcast?
yeah, what, yeah, and
Well,
it's
I just lost my headset. Fuck.
it's funny to us because we get a message from him, a voice message telling he was just trying to get it set up on his way home. And I'm thinking to myself, you need to have it set up that quickly so like as soon as you get into your house, you're like, I'm
Right?
live, boys. Here I am. This is where I'm at. Get out of town, Terry. Bulkster, you and your shenanigans. Jeez
Like, give the
Louise.
guy credit for trying,
No,
but
that's not
bro,
what I'm
you're an
gonna do.
idiot. You're driving. You shouldn't even be on your
Yeah,
phone.
you should be focused on the task at hand,
Yeah, not
which is
killing people.
driving. Jesus.
Could you
Fucking
imagine that moose coming at you
no.
doing what, 55 mile an hour? Just fucking humming and he's on his phone, not paying attention.
I mean, if I'm gonna be quite honest with you, I don't imagine uh Terry coming at me doing anything. I would instantly be revolted, and I would not want to be a part of that scenario
Oh,
at
God.
all. And that's
But
just because I know the guy.
here's the best part, though. I'm sure that dude don't move fast, so you can get out of the way.
Nah, yeah, well, yeah, yeah, but I bet you he surprises you every once in a while and has
Yeah,
like a has a
I'll tell you the same thing I've
burst
told
of energy.
everybody that picked a fight with me. I'm like, I bet you I can run faster scared than you can mad, fucker.
Well, I mean, you're more than welcome to give him a test drive. You get, just
Dude,
come
when I
on
come down
down,
there, I am
come on
slapping
down
that
here.
dude's belly. I'm gonna slap him right in the gut. Bam! And then I'm gonna run like hell.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely test them. I mean, make sure to pick me up so I can come and watch. Plus, I'll have to, show you the little spots to go and all the cool stuff there. But yeah, we can make a day of it, man. Just
Oh hell yeah.
busting the bulkster's chops. I'm definitely down.
Oh shit.
So down on that one.
Yeah.
So, how's your week
It's
been?
oh dude, it started out pretty cool.
Yeah,
And then I missed a day because I wasn't like my brain was just hell no, you ain't doing shit today.
yeah, gotcha.
One of those mental days I just had to take one. Well, in the process of me taking my mental day, apparently one of the guys that I really like to work with got into a verbal disagreement with the manager and said some inappropriate things to him and got fired.
Oh, got the old fire there. We got
Yeah.
a fan of ours, a friend of ours, a companion of the Turnbuckle Studios, the Window
Yes.
Lickers family. Chris Parrish stopping in saying hello. Chris
Yeah.
Parrish, let us know in the chat if you want to jump in and be a part of the show. We
Don't
definitely
pull
can
a
send you a link.
fucking
And
Terry.
we're
Jump in here
definitely
while you're on your way to
having,
work.
yeah, we're definitely having just a general discussion, nothing big, nothing planned.
He's like, send me the link. You
We'll,
think the parachuter himself is going to pass up the opportunity to come in here and talk? I lost my poop.
yeah, he would. If he had
No, he
something
wouldn't.
going on, he would have to pass it up.
If he had something going on, dude, he wouldn't be in here.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, you're
I know
probably right
Chris.
about that.
I know he's a good guy. I like Chris. He's always busting my chops, but I get him every now and then.
You don't get nobody nothing.
That's not
You
what Terry said when we
silly butthole. There we go. Got that set up. All right. Diving back into it, getting all that. Okay. So interesting things. Hey, have you been checking out this uh I forget the name of it, but the whole thing with the Nickelodeon
No.
Dan Schneider thing?
No, what?
So yeah, I started watching it with my wife, and they're going through like some of the things that have happened to some of the kids through the years of the Nickelodeon, mostly through the shows that Dan Schneider created, which was All That, the Amanda Bynes Show, another show that was like similar to Fear Factor, but
Okay.
was done more like kid related. So they brought on like the stars of all the different shows that they had going on there.
Oh.
But man,
No, I heard nothing about it.
there is some crazy stuff, man. It was very I guess I'm not gonna say disheartening. It was very more so like kind of crushing of your
Huh.
childhood. I mean, because like I don't know, to me, like a lot of these shows were shows that I passed a lot of time with, like, you know, studying for
Really?
something they were on in the background. I remember watching the Friday night lineup that Nickelodeon had for different things, like with Are You Afraid of the Dark and different shows like that. Just kind of fun stuff. But to know that like some of these some of them went through some things that are horrible, it's just insane. And then you got some of the people that are on there that I don't know. It seems like that they're on there so that they can get their moment.
Don't
And
you fucking hate people like that?
I do, because honestly, if you're and let's be honest. I mean, where I fall on this subject, um, we it's good that it's coming out. It sucks that people had to go through this stuff. But again, in the same sense, we're focused on this Dan Schneider thing, and yet we we have Ghislaine Maxwell in jail for trafficking to who? I mean, she's in jail for trafficking underage girls, but to who? Like how how do you still sit in a jail cell and there's nobody that you know?
Yeah, who was paying her for these
Ooh,
kids?
ooh.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
let's get some names though. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I mean
Like, don't
that.
get me wrong. What she did was bad in trafficking a human being,
Mhm.
but the people that partake of this kind of thing and pay to do that are way worse than the person trafficking, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're two big evil things, and as
Yep.
we have this discussion going on, we have the one, the only Chris Parrish, part of the Chris Parrish podcast, the parachuter originator. Is that what they'd say?
Captain
Oh, here
Parachuter.
we
Fucking
go.
here comes Terry in
Hold
here
on.
again, booting people out.
I gotta add another camera slot because old
Jesus.
Tear Bear came through, kicking everybody off like a fucking rabid animal. All right, got one there. There he is. He's on
There
my
I
end
am.
at least. All right. So give me 1 second, fellas, while I get Parrish lined up.
There goes Terry. Freaking shit
Pretty
up
good.
again.
All
Oh
right,
man, I've been killing it today.
here we go. All
Yeah,
right,
you
before
did
you
kill
get
it
into
today.
it, Bulkster, because you're an interrupter of
Yep.
extraordinary levels,
I've been
the
some
Chris Parrish
interruptions.
is with us. Chris Parrish, how are you doing? the parachuter originator yelling
I'm
fuck.
okay. I'm on edge today because I was at my nephew's hockey game. Took a pretty vicious knee on knee because the team they're playing knew they weren't going to win, so they played dirty and they were diving just to get calls. So he is at the hospital getting his knee checked out right now. Only less than 24 hours before their gold medal game tomorrow. So he might be done, but we'll see. So
Well,
Tell him
I
to
hope-
tape that shit up and ever.
yeah.
No, seriously though, but that sucks.
Yeah, it's off. I mean, I had a brief conversation with him before he left, just telling him like, hey man, don't worry. I'm like, champions don't quit. You're this family's champion. So just know that this injury doesn't define you, it motivates you. It's like, remember in Batman, why do we fall down? And I'm like, just know that I'm proud of you, love you. Next time you hit the ice, you're gonna fucking make us proud. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That should be.
Yeah, there you go.
And then
You're a great uncle, dude.
And then I never seen the kid cry so hard, and I felt bad. But at the same time, I know he's a good kid. He just weighs it. Like it weighs on him.
Well, yeah.
But that's usually the one of the qualifications for somebody who actually wants to do the sport, go further in it, and
it's his dream. And like you hear so many horror stories about people who like blew out a knee or whatever before they got an opportunity for a shot, and just it wasn't the same again. And like you just don't want. You never want somebody in your own family to be that statistic.
Yeah, never.
True.
It sucks. Yeah. But on that being said, though, you did pull out the cool uncle card and be like, "Listen, bro, it doesn't matter what happens from here out. Like, we got you."
Well, and then that's what I want him to know that, because like he was easily like my brother and I played hockey growing up. We tried to pretend like we were good. I mean, we both played with guys who played in the NHL. However, my nephew's coach actually did play in the NHL, so
yeah.
But it's just one of those things where you know it's his dream to be there, and he's not like he's 14. He has an agent. Things are fucking weirdly serious.
Yeah.
But
yeah, especially at that age.
He's a first year on a team. Only 2 first years made the team, so that shows you like the pedigree of what he did. So I don't know. I just feel for him, but at the same time, like I also know what it's like to be pushed down a few times, and it doesn't matter, right? Like that's what character's built off of, is that toughness, and that's whether or not you know how to keep that motor revving.
Very true. I mean, couldn't agree more with that. And speaking of motors revving up, we got the Bulkster, the couch extraordinaire. He is known for his potato chip finding, his quarter getting, his ability to leap over any couch and land perfectly. The Bulkster, Terry Haunts. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Been a busy day. Been out and about all day. Doing some light gambling.
Oh, some gambling, huh?
Well,
what'd you gamble on?
Well, we started out with bingo with the wife.
Started out with bingo.
Started with $40, ended there with $65. So $15 profit, but got to spend some time with my wife.
There you go.
After that, hung out here for a little bit, then went and played poker in a tournament for $30 buy-in and got first, and ended up leaving there with $180.
Look at you.
So there we go.
Man, you got all the retirement gambling spots on lock.
Yep.
And Bubba, that's
I go there and I
money,
take out all these old guys' retirement
Canadian
funds.
Did you hear what Parrish said there?
What do you say?
He said that, and that's American money, so that's like $1,000 to us.
It pretty much is. The way shit's going here, I might just move to the States.
No, you want to keep our healthcare.
What healthcare, dude? I got to pay for everything here.
What the fuck is wrong with you then?
And you wanna know
sorry,
something else?
Sorry, I take that back. I take
People-
that back. That is a rabbit hole I'm not going into.
Yeah.
How do you
that.
pay for healthcare?
You know what's the biggest BS thing in
Maple
Canada?
syrup?
I love maple syrup. Don't go there, bro.
I
I spent
you don't go
12
there to
hours.
Canadians, man.
12 hours in the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
For
Bleeding,
what?
dude. I
Toothache?
was gushing blood everywhere. And they're like, no, you're
I-
fine.
A
Yeah.
toothache.
Well, was you fine? Did they tell you to toughen up, rub some dirt on it?
Isn't like
That's what
one
they do
of
here
the
in the
top
States.
things of like why Americans go to the hospitals because the family does not know what the difference between a cold is and a fever? I read that somewhere.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
Here we
guys-
go.
Well, no, you guys.
Rabbit hole.
Here's the thing with your guys' healthcare. You guys have the ability that you guys can, if you're sick or something, you can go there and you can get checked out. It might take some time, things like that.
Yeah.
Here, if you don't have insurance, they're not going to see you. So you would go to the emergency room. And that's where the confusion comes from, because it's not the fact that people want to go to the emergency room or like they're too dumb to realize that that's the drawback of having a health insurance like we have, is that your regular small time doctor who just has a practice in a small town, he's not going to see you, because if you don't have the money to pay for it right up front, or you don't have the insurance, then they're just not going to see you. They're going to tell you to go to the hospital. So it's a little skewed in that way, but I mean,
I just know.
But
that
there
our
are dumb
healthcare brought in a Playboy Playmate and Brock Lesnar.
yeah,
Like-
well,
Like,
Yeah.
like we have. No, I'm just gonna.
you're going to
It's
pass
gonna get.
on that
It's
one.
gonna get
or-
wild in here. We're gonna have a wild conversation in here.
Well, that's what Window Liquors is all about, Terry. We
That's what the
we don't
bullshit
have
is
any
about.
setup.
So
You just speak.
Yeah.
America has a lot of single mothers.
So does
Okay.
Canada.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's
I think
not
we are bigger
we're
than
not
you.
unique.
I think we got you beat.
No,
Maybe. I
actually,
don't
we're
know.
a bigger country than you guys.
I don't know, but
We are. We're the second biggest country in the world. Russia is the
So-
number one.
for them and their 5 kids from 5 different daddies
Mm.
can go to the doctor. We have a lot of state aid. I mean, and that's where me and Josh's tax money goes to, letting them go to the doctor for free. And they don't go to the doctor; they go to the emergency room. Unlike me and Josh, if we went to the emergency room, it's cost us more than if we just went to the doctor.
So
Very
wait,
true.
you're saying like there's like baby mama of like of 5 or whatever. So is that why America's pastime is baseball, because Father's Day is a daily occurrence?
Hmm.
Like
mean-
it's a you got to take all day to visit every one of your days.
But yeah, I
that's
mean, it's just
horrible.
crazy because like I said, I
That's
know
horrible.
personally. Like I said, me and Donna, we don't go to the emergency room unless I mean, it has to be emergency. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be. We have after hours clinics, which are like doctors on the go, where you could basically just stop in. They're not your regular doctor. Like if
Mhm.
you have a cold and you want to get some meds for it, you can go there. But as in, and our insurance will pay that. But if you go to the emergency room, you're paying $75 to $150 just to go there, and then that doesn't count your deductible. And after that, it's 80/20, 70/30, whatever your insurance might be. It could be ridiculous. And when you go to the doctor, normal doctor, you can get out with $30. So.
I
But
just-
people that are, single moms on the state aid, they don't care about it. They'll take their little babies to the ER for earache, or go to the emergency room for an earache, because they don't care if it's $3,000 the state's paying. And they'll look at us like, I have family. They're like, why don't you guys go? I mean, we'll see them go to the ER like 3 times out of the week, and it's like, we can't do that.
You guys
Like-
really have weak condoms, then, don't you?
Well,
That's so hard to break pop. But
That
also, I also just want to say this: I came on with a cold and a toothache, and I just cracked open a beer and joined the window liquors. So toughness.
You got the
is-
Hollywood Parish attitude.
Hollywood Parish attitude.
No.
I like it. You got the Hollywood Parish attitude going on. Old Hollywood.
Hey man,
Parish. Yeah.
if being Hollywood's good enough for Dwayne, it's good enough for me.
Well, hey, he's made a decent living at it. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
There's a
Does
lot
he
of his
have-
movies.
Does he have a fun dip? I don't think so. That's the difference.
Well, we don't
That's
know
what you get to bite. That's what you get at the baseball diamonds.
the fun dip. That's what you get at a baseball.
No. That's the
Well,
big
no,
league chew.
I remember
at
little league
baseball.
games up at the
Oh,
concession
okay.
stands. You'd always have fun dips and
Well,
stuff like that.
I thought you meant like as an adult you go to like
No,
the minor
I'm
league
talking
games
like-
around here, like the Fort Wayne team, and you're just like, hey, I'm here for the fun dip, buds. I like it, Terry. Well, yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, back when I was a kid, fun dip was definitely one of the spots to
It's the
hit
big chew.
when you. I was
So
never a fan of big league. It just to
Well, no,
me, the
'cause-
flavor didn't last long enough.
Well, no, because like the whole reason why you had Big League Chew at a baseball game is because you wanted to act like your favorite baseball players. And every time they
Yeah.
pan to like the worst shot, they have
You
just
wanted
like
to go-
big ass ball of tobacco in there, and they're just like spitting out what you thought as a 9-year-old was like cola, because that's what it looked like.
Right.
Yeah.
And
They
then
probably
you do that to pretend like you're Jim Tomei or you're Manny Ramirez or you're whoever. from that,
they've probably never seen the gumballs that are painted like baseballs.
Oh, do
I-
you guys have those
Oh yeah.
at your little
No.
league game?
So I got a good story before funded for you. So next week I'm invited.
I've never
Obviously,
heard this.
I'm invited to my wife's family's Easter dinner,
Mhm.
and they're making it like you have to bring your own dip. So I'm literally bringing fun dips for everyone.
Dude, that's epic.
That's kind of
Right.
cool though. I
And
like
then
it.
Well,
those
Alberta.
chocolate chip dip granola bars. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
also
I
bringing
love
those for the kids.
I just had one of those today, and it was funny because like at my house, we have 2 of those storage totes,
Mhm.
and we have those up on like a I don't know what the fuck it is. My grandma gave me something that
Buffet?
older people. Yeah, it's like a buffet thing, but it doesn't have the curio thing on the back. You know what I'm talking about, Terry? Okay. Anyways, so we have all the snacks, all the chips, and everything in those 2 things. And today, the girls had softball practice, and the wife, she's an assistant coach, so she went too. And I got back from dropping off one of the girls, and I go right up to the thing. I open it up, and I see one of the dipped granola bars. And in my head, it was like 4th of July was going off. I was like, oh shit, yes. I grabbed that thing, sat right down, started eating it. It was I get that way with another childhood snack, Totino's pizza, party pizzas. You know what I'm talking about, right, Terry?
Oh yeah.
America.
They're like these little rectangle pizzas. And they're horrible. They're no good. But it reminds me so much of being a kid. And plus I have so many of them because it's like the kids get home from school and they just throw one in and
Do you
have that
fold
for
it like a
snack.
sandwich?
Sometimes. Yes, I do. Put a little ranch on the side and dip it. Yeah. Make all the faces you want, Bubba Duke, but it is a goddamn treat. So if you're going to move here to America, you need to learn about these things.
I like how your selling point of a treat is like, hey, these pizzas, which are no good, what you want to do is fold them and dump them into something that's
Even worse.
Yeah.
debatable as good or not as this.
I'm a
depending
West
on the
Noble kid, and we dipped everything in ranch during lunch.
So,
They had like tubs
so you're
of
gonna sit there
ranch.
and like make ranch like the pedestal of pedestals, and then you actually have the gall to make fun of maple
You
syrup?
just got to get used to America's food pyramid.
I make fun of maple syrup as if it was
You
like
got- I think
currency.
I just
It
assume
is currency up here.
I'm just assuming that the United States have ranch beside like 1% milk in the.
Well, we
Yeah.
have buttermilk ranch.
1% milk.
I'm not a fan of it. I've
Dude, I used to
never really
fucking
been a
milk the
fan
cow.
of buttermilk.
Bubba, are you more of the homogenized man?
I am not a homo. If that's what you're getting at, beer drinking
Whoa,
jackass.
whoa!
I'm just
Bubba,
asking if you
dude.
like homogenized milk.
Yeah, he's just.
I don't even know
asking
what that
about-
means, dude.
I don't
He's
think
not
it's
asking about
PG.
your ding dong preferences.
That's what the word
Is
actually
this PG?
is instead of.
I don't
This
even know
is
what it means.
This is rated R superstar night.
Parish guaranteed is PG.
Hollywood Parish is.
Hollywood Parish is over here getting beers, getting lit.
We
He's
ain't-
on a little medication.
What do you? I'm not on medication. I'm on.
We
Well,
alcohol.
I
We
was
ain't
going off
following
you saying you're
standards and
sick.
practices like Hollywood Rock.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully you're paying the people a decent salary.
Nope.
Man,
Yeah,
think about
We don't get paid.
The Rock and his actual rise. And I wasn't even thinking about talking about wrestling tonight.
Wait,
We
But-
talk about,
talking
as
about
president.
The Rock and his actual rise in what fashion? Because this could go sideways quickly.
Well, his rise in the entertainment industry coming out of the WWE. I mean, he went from doing just small bit roles to what was it? Japan paid him all that money for that one movie that was him escaping a building.
Skyscraper.
Yeah, was that it? Was that
I
what
don't
it
know.
was called?
That was in. Where was that? That
Was
in
that
Japan.
Skyscraper?
That was where? Yeah,
It was an Asian-based movie though.
yeah, it was Skyscraper.
But that was like I think that was one of his biggest money-making movies he ever
I went to the
did.
theater to see that.
I've watched the 4D experience. Have you guys ever seen that shit?
I know
Like,
what you mean.
man, that stuff is some wicked stuff. You should, if you ever get the chance to go to a 4D movie, go and check it out.
Hong
Dude,
Kong is where it was in.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hong Kong. All I know is
It was a huge money grab for him. I
It
mean, the
was.
movie, if you break down the movie in an actual like critiquing sense, it wasn't that good. It was not that good.
You know the funniest part about that movie is, for me, is the first time I saw it was just when it was on the movie channel
Mhm.
at home, and I only knew about like the premise of the movie, not
Okay.
really any details. So the premise is obviously he's someone who understands how to help save this building, and then there's fire, family's trapped in, he's saving his family.
And he
Okay,
has
cool.
one leg.
See, I didn't know that part.
Oh, they didn't tell you that in that
Well-
little. Oh, that sucks.
So like I'm watching and all of a sudden I'm seeing him screw a leg. I'm like, then all of a sudden I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, well, if since someone can't be Jack Sparrow anymore, I think I know leg man.
Yeah, and that's pretty crazy too that you bring up that. I think I was reading, was it a month ago or something? I guess Johnny Depp is suing because they're not, I don't think they're bringing him back.
They are bringing him back.
They are?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. He's coming
They
back.
should.
He's got a very
Here's
minor.
the best
role,
part about the
but he's back.
movie.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
mean,
it's his
honestly,
daughter now, and he's like mentoring his daughter or something.
his real life daughter?
No.
or-
Like in the
Oh,
movie,
okay, in the movie.
Jack Sparrow's kid, kind of thing.
But why does that? I mean, I guess
Why can't it
If
be a
they do-
son? Why is everything
Well-
gonna be a girl? Bring a girl in it.
Because
Yeah.
all lives matter, Terry.
No, we don't.
Yeah, I mean, the more we kind of realize that maybe they, some kind of suck, and they really like. I mean, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, what the fuck do I matter? In the grand scheme of things, nothing really. I mean, honestly, the more you sit there and you try to make yourself one of the most important things that make the fucking world go round, the bigger disappointments you're setting yourself up for.
You know why you matter? Because that's literally what you're made out of.
Dad joke perish.
Actually, that's scientifically proven.
Oh, no, well, you are correct. If we
There's a
boil
whole
it
lot of
down
this
to-
parish.
if
Perish.
we boil it down to that,
That's only because you failed science.
I didn't
Harris,
even
do you like
take
going
science.
outside?
what'd you say, Terry?
Harris, do you like to go outdoors?
I was outdoors today.
I
I just said I was at my
going.
nephew's hockey game.
That's safer than going.
I
out
don't
windows.
have a hockey rink in my basement. I'm not West Edmonton Mall.
It's safer than going out windows.
We lick windows.
That is
I'm
true.
not-
That is true,
Do you
Terry.
want me to do something totally offside?
What?
I don't.
What?
That's my opinion.
Well, it's like you don't go out windows, and I'm like, well, I mean, I don't.
I asked if you like to go outdoors. You said yeah. I said it's safer than going out windows.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Trust me. I hear you die if you
See,
go out
here
windows.
here's the thing, Terry. You got two guys trying to throw out dad jokes. Who's got the New Balances on? Huh? Nobody? Huh?
See,
Hey,
as a member of a PWI, that was called no selling, Terry.
No selling.
No
Okay.
He no sold on you.
Hard too.
So, okay, let me ask you guys all this. You guys growing up, you may not have been huge sports fans, but did you guys have sports figures that you looked up to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't ever have my growth spurt, so I literally looked up to all my action figures. No, I'm just kidding.
There we go. Here we go. Another dad joke. There we go.
No, I mean, I had well, obviously I had wrestling figures growing up. I had like a giant I mean, oh yeah, bro. Right? There's the guy who's running the industry right now. But no, we had this hockey game, and it was like, I don't know, they all had little holes in their feet, and then you put them on a peg or whatever, and then you're just controlling them. Like you've seen the bubble hockey, but you could buy that or one of those, and then you could buy all the hockey teams. So I would take white hockey tape or whatever color hockey tape, and I would put a little square in the back, and I would make all the hockey players. So I would then actually have the real guys, because they just have like blank jerseys. So
yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I'd actually.
So you had sports figures you looked up to, Terry. Did you?
No, not really. I
No?
didn't look up to really anything.
Were you ever really excited about like certain sports figures out there?
I mean, I liked wrestling, but I didn't like look up to them, I guess. But I didn't really watch sports much. I mean, I collected cards when in the 90s, but it was mainly just that's what everybody was doing friends wise. Oh,
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna trade
gotcha.
cards.
Yeah.
And I picked a couple baseball players like
Papa Duke is watching porn and he's jacking off right now.
I looked up to Ron Jeremy.
Oh God! I hope you don't do that in your
Anybody, you gotta
adult
pick
life,
him.
man.
Got a crossover athlete who also acted in the Mario capacity.
But Bubba's got the look.
Bubba is the look. No, I see what you're saying. You may not have been a big sports fan. You didn't look up to these guys, but you knew of them. I mean, of course, you knew of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. I mean, that was huge in our area.
I looked up to Mario and Luigi.
Mario and Luigi. Yeah, you were more of a video game type kid.
I actually got. I mean, it was a bad decision for picking on, but I didn't care. I was my own person, and I had like in the day it was cool to have like things like etched into your side of your head, and I actually had an M and an L on my side of my heads. People like
Mario Lemieux,
Mario Luigi.
Oh my God.
And
I would have went with Mario Lemieux. Bro.
No. He's very political. He loved his Monica Lewinsky.
You were on Monica's side. Okay.
He always played with them under a desk too. That was the thing.
Oh
but yeah,
shit!
that didn't turn out very well.
Bubba
That
Duke,
was
Obviously,
that was bully material right there.
Oh, that is huge. Major
Dude, I
load
would've-
right in the back of Terry's head.
Did you guys know that the creator of the Super Mario Brothers was actually made fun of in high school when he thought of hammering turtles with a hammer?
Sometimes I don't know how to take what the words that just came out of your mouth, Parrish. This is one of them.
So just no. Moving on.
Yeah, I don't know. Bubba Duke, sports figures. Were you? Did you
I had
have
a
some?
few, actually. One of the there's a couple in wrestling. Obviously, Eddie and Benoit. Those were two of my favorite growing up, along with Dean Malenko. And I really, back in the day, really liked Dusty and Flair. The Four Horsemen thing was
Yeah.
my big thing. Yeah, Triple H wasn't bad neither. I liked him back
What
in the
about
day.
outside of wrestling?
Outside wrestling, I liked. Holy Christ! What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Jesus. I like some like Toronto Blue Jay guys. A lot of baseball players because I played ball. Tried emulating a lot of guys that were playing baseball. I played hockey. I grew up with a couple of guys like Ronnie Francis. I knew him because he's from my hometown. Marty Turco and I grew up together. He got called up and he'd come back here and help train me. So that was pretty cool. So I looked up to him, like Potvin, at Balfour because I was a goalie. So I looked up to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that was my childhood, and I didn't have a lot of TV growing up because I grew up on a farm, so there was always shit I had to do. So when I did get time, those are the guys that I was watching when I had TV time.
Yeah, I get you. The reason I asked this is because I was just reminiscing how we were talking about snacks and stuff like that. And like I was just thinking about back into when I was younger, maybe 13, 14, and like my Saturday nights were after whatever sport I was in and doing that.
Yeah.
Usually involved coming back home watching WCW,
Yep.
their Saturday night show, and then getting ready for like this time of the year would be Sunday, which would be the NBA, and watching these guys do their thing. Mostly in my area was the Chicago Bulls. And I was just thinking of today and like wondering, do you guys think that there's kids out there today that have that same love for sports or just seeing that entertainment? Because I mean, we opened up the show when Parrish came back, or Parrish came on when we got back,
Yeah.
and he was speaking of his nephew and how his nephew's actually doing some great things in hockey. And you know, I got a daughter who she watches all the she'll when she comes home she checks out all the softball games that have happened in college softball and stuff like
Nice.
that. Like she'll sit down and she'll fucking watch game after game of that stuff. But like I don't really hear other people talk about that. Like I don't hear the excitement for like a Saturday night. You know, they had Collision going on. You know, I know there's not like a huge amount of people who are AEW fans, but I mean, fuck you, Terry. It just seems like that's gone from this generation, and the I guess the emulating sports stars and things as younger kids. I guess I don't know. I don't see it really anymore.
I honestly think that's threefold in the sense of like one really depends on where you are in the world.
Yep.
And then two, it all depends on the person because I mean you always hear about if you're really into like a professional sport and you like the draft and college stuff, you always hear about, you know, people younger getting into sports or starting stuff like young and whatnot. But then 3. Well, hi, social media. Thank you for allowing people to be themselves and be happy about that fact.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's that. There like everybody is now engraved, like as like a child, you're now engraved to think YouTube is television. Like you like really are. Like it's amazing how much I will watch my nephews be on their iPad watching YouTube when the TV's on. And I'm just like,
Yeah, what's the point, right?
I'm like, really?
I
And
mean,
it's all about the quick consumption of content, and you're not really enjoying the game as much because there's that easy distraction.
I
And
see what you're saying.
and I really think that's why you have what you have for wrestling fans, because you either have people who like to watch how it plays out and they enjoy the patient long game of things, WWE fans, or then you like that quick distraction and you like Will Ospreay.
Well, I mean, I see exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you on that one. But
canceled so bad when it comes
I
to
also agree. I also think that there's fans like me who want that long story in AEW because I think that they could pull it off and do it well. But like you said, this younger generation, and they do have an abundance of younger talent who, I mean, come on, how many fucking AEW matches have you watched where you just sat there and this might be me, but in my head I go, I could fucking see this on any indie circuit that I go and fucking watch. I can watch 4 or 5 super kicks, one right after another. The next one getting a bigger pop than the last one. It's like why play into the fact that you have this younger talents that are coming up from the indie circuit? Why play in that? Why not, since they've made it to the next level, why not give the fans that next level entertainment? Go ahead, Parrish.
Well, and I'm going to bring it right back to your topic at hand.
Okay.
It's because that was the inspiration of how they got into it. Therefore, they think that's how it is. And like, it's weird because that's also the shift in the evolution of what's cool, because what's cool isn't necessarily the story, it's the move. Or in hindsight, it's not so much the long answer, it's I just want the answer, right? So it's like when you're at school, hypothetically, it's, oh, your teacher is telling you why A wasn't the proper answer. You're just like, oh, it's C, okay. You only care about C. You didn't learn anything. You didn't care about anything.
Gotcha.
You just wanted the result. You just wanted the end point. And I think that like you're now training yourself when you choose that YouTube over television, or you're choosing that at all over hanging out with your friends or going outside and actually earning life experience. You're looking for that quick fix. So in a way, you're almost fighting the addiction part of life by using the quick fix of distraction.
I mean, it makes sense. Bubba Duke, Terry, you guys got any input on this? As Bubba Duke went mute.
Well, I read something that AJ, at least it was quoted by AJ, supposedly from a source, that he has been like, he loves where he's at WWE. He doesn't think he'll leave WWE. He thinks he'll probably retire there because that was the long game. And he goes, he wishes more indie guys or young and up and comers would seek out and try out for WWE, like NXT and stuff, because he's hungry for these guys. He goes, there's a lot of openings, I guess, as in like they're as long if you're good and you're whatever. He goes, because he thinks long term, providing for your family and everything. He goes, WWE, it's more I guess that, unless you can't sell tickets, of course, or get seen. But some of these higher up guys like Will Ospreay and these guys, if they want to have job security, he goes, WWE's, right now they got that he mentioned the 10-year deal with Netflix, and then it can be up to 20 years. He goes, that's like your whole life. You could really build yourself from the ground up and be like top guy if you can, if you, he goes, there's a lot of people out there that he thinks that could fill those positions for,
yeah.
And he goes, yeah, it's, you have your creative freedom over in other places that you can things, but he goes, if he's looking at a family thing, like if you have 2 or 3, 4 kids, and that job might not last as long, or especially if it's depending on you're focusing on ratings. He has to, you have to look at it as a business, and who I'm not a wrestler, I'm not an independent wrestler, I don't know the ins and works, but if you could make it to WWE and make a living, even if X person over here is going to pay you even more, but you at least know here you're going to have a stable, and you don't have to do, I would say, very serious, dangerous moves. You can play it safe. Yeah, you get injured in WWE, but man, some of the things I've seen on AEW, I feel it's very high risk. At least certain guys do it. Maybe that's their preference, but it's just very, wow, I can't believe they're doing that.
I honestly think this is an era difference between the way a free agent would look at how to do things. I look at like how Rick Rude, why he would leave. I look at why the Radicals would leave. They're looking at opportunity. They're looking at, hey, we're tired of where we are. It wasn't about the money. It was like, how can we go and earn the top spot?
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it seems like people are going to companies based on whether or not they have to change who they are or not. And I say that because there is always that fear that they're going to change who they are if they go to WWE. I don't best. But then you see Jade Cargill, you see Cody Rhodes, you see Shawn Spears, you see people that are like that now. And I think that's going to be something that's different in the next 5 years for us, for WWE and for agents. But then you look at people like Will Ospreay, who it really comes down to me that he went to AEW because he felt they were going to let him be him more often, or he just felt more comfortable being him in New Japan in AEW, and he was given that freedom. And I think that's also why Mercedes went to AEW as well, because she wanted Mercedes Moné. She didn't want the shadow of Sasha Banks. The money was probably good, and right now, Tony Khan has a shitload of money. That's not deniable. That's a fact. He can pay you, but I think too, like, people have to look at now: do you want the short-term profit, or do you want 5 to 10 years of building your franchise? I think that's the big difference, and I think you really get a set of. And it's not like anybody. I'm not saying like just because you signed with AEW, you're not thinking about your franchise. I 100% think everyone is. I just think being who you are right now and making sure you don't change, people look at that as more of a deterrent than they did 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And honestly, like you spoke of with the Netflix deal, right now the what AJ's saying makes more sense if you're thinking of procuring a career like of the guys that we idolize and the guys that we enjoy, your Stone Colds and things like that. You have more of an opportunity now with WWE because of Netflix, because Netflix does original content. And my guess is in their contract there's things to where they can use the certain characters and things like that from the WWE, and that procures more of a getting your name out there and showing your, the difference that you are outside of the ring as a person. Or if you're just wanting to be, I mean, hell, think about if they would have had that during the Kane movies, the See No Evil movies. Imagine Netflix uh, putting production behind that. It would have been even way better than what it was. And what
Yeah.
WWE did with it was awesome. That's one of my favorite movies that they ever put out. I thought it was well done. I thought it really showed Kane, even though it wasn't too far out of his character inside a ring. I mean, he wasn't murdering people in the ring
He wasn't ripping
like
people's
he was
eyes
in
out
this
either.
movie. He wasn't really, hunting people down and hanging them on shit. But you guys kind of see where I'm going with that. I mean, it gave us that next level of Kane, and I think, like you're saying, Parrish, because I mean, if anybody follows you and has paid attention to you, you do bring up the Will Ospreay thing, and honestly, did he go to a place that's going to allow him to be more like he was in New Japan? Yes, I fully agree with that. But what I don't like is that, to me, that's just saying that you're comfortable with this level and you don't want anything to go above that. And you just want people to know you for this moment. Well, AJ Styles didn't do that. AJ Styles kept trying to get better. I mean, every organization, every promotion that he went from his start, he just got better and better and better. And now we see him here at the top of the mountain in WWE, and it's like the dude's begging for competition. He's begging for people to come up so he can compete with them and show the world what both of them can do. And some people like Will are like, I like the cloud that they got me to the show, and I don't want to rise above this.
I think I think I think too, one thing Will Ospreay had was anybody he knew of coming from WWE and New Japan probably didn't speak too well about WWE because they probably didn't have the greatest falling out, or maybe they didn't have the greatest time, or they weren't used well, or they are typecasted at something, and and he hears a lot of the horror stories, which, let's be honest, there were. However, I think you're an absolute meathead if you can't see the difference in that organization in the last 2.5 years. Because it's no surprise to me that in the Roman Reigns title run, look at where WWE went from and where they are now. It is gigantic. And you have a chance to cut a little bit of that pie and put that in your pocket. And at the same time, you have an opportunity to like, oh my God, if I bring a name value, they could put me up against The Rock. Or I could go up against Cody Rhodes, somebody who founded AEW and is the man in WWE right now.
Yeah.
Or maybe I can have a run-in with guys I respect, like a Nick Aldis or an Adam Pearce. Like I can share this, or even do something with the Seth Rollins, a Gunther, people that you can't tell me people worldwide in the business don't respect these people. Not saying that there
you're
are
right.
people over there not, but if the people in the company who are resigning to be there enjoy it, that should tell you that there is a potential of, hey, I might actually enjoy what working there.
No, you're on, and it's funny too that the way you broke it down, because to me that describes Monet and why she went where she went, because I don't know, but to me people, I think, jump too quick, because look what she could do now. if she was with the WD.
It's just some people like to be the head of attention. Yeah, she's head of attention now, but look at everybody that's came into AEW. They get their 5 seconds of fame. Okay, you come in, you do your pay-per-view main event, win a title. If you sell tickets, good. If not, well, we got to find somebody. What's the next new toy to bring in here? She didn't want to be probably second fiddle over a WWE. I mean, there's so many top women, and she thinks that some of these people just have a really big ego on them that they can't work. I think WWE might be more of a team atmosphere instead of, cutthroat. I think AEW works more like the Indies because I've always heard the Indies is more cutthroat, as in like, oh, you got more time than me, blah, blah. But I think
I wouldn't say cutthroat. I honestly think the Indies are pretty fucking petty. I think there's a difference between cutthroat and being petty. I think the Indies nowadays are petty. The politics in wrestling now aren't even close to where they were 10, 15 years ago. Simply because the people can't play them anymore. They don't know how. We think everybody, like nowadays, you walk in a locker room, you think everybody's your best friend. That's not the case. I go in a locker room, and I'm not looking at saying, hey, I'm going to be a best friend to. I'm like, hey, it's a job, but somebody's paying me to do this. And I'm taking that money and I'm buying stuff for my baby. I'm providing for a family. So then when I see somebody who has 3 minutes of ring experience, or I see somebody coming in bitching about a spot on the card and they didn't draw any money, they didn't sell any tickets, they didn't promote a show, they didn't do any little thing you need to do on the independents. And they're crying a Nile over their spot on the card, but they don't even know which arm goes where on a move, like a basic chain wrestling move. It's like,
yeah, they, like I said, AEW is a good alternative. They have a steady audience, a very steady audience. I don't think it's been increased very much or downcreased. I mean, it's went up to a certain point, and now it's just kind of a flat thing. And WWE, I mean, it's just so big that it's on growing and growing and growing and going to new countries. And I mean, it's just, I think it would help if they didn't. AEW does a lot of talking about. They bring up WWE a lot, or innuendos that we all know they're talking about what they're talking about.
You're into windows?
Yep, innuendos.
Yeah, licking them.
I mean, like I said, I'm excited.
I've
been hearing tidbits that people are going crazy on the internet about possibly MJF coming to WWE. I'm excited for that. He was an AEW guy
for a little bit since he got injured. That was always a speculation. Like when he took that time off to go and get surgery, there was a big speculation that he's going to WWE. There's also, I mean,
no one knows it's work. They said recently that they've taken MJ off their roster page, and they are no longer selling his merchandise.
Yeah, but that also,
I don't know if that's just a ploy.
That can't be a ploy.
That could be him. Yeah, that's what. This is the problem, and I know exactly what you're. I know exactly what you're saying, Terry. But here's the issue with MJF. If you don't know MJF, you don't follow him. It's kind of hard to know that this could possibly be a work for him.
Yeah.
This is right up his alley for that thing. I see
Ghostbusters come to life.
Yeah, and then we have Chris Best joining
Dollar
us.
General Wolverine.
Dollar General Wolverine.
Yeah, it's always hard to tell when MJF is being real versus when he's being kayfabe.
Yeah, and he's in an organization now who plays into that with him a lot. Honestly, I don't see him going to the WWE and fitting in well right now in his the mode of his career right now. I think he has a lot more to learn before he jumps over to the WWE. And that's just my personal opinion with him. Would I love to see it? Yes, eventually. I don't want it to be like an AJ Styles where we wait so long and knowing that, I mean, AJ's limited in his years that he's going to have left. And that's due to the fact that he's a complete badass and he's done so many amazing matches and put his body through so many amazing things. But I don't know if I want MJF in the WWE yet.
Besides our diehards, would there be enough WWE fans like there at the arena that would know who MJF? Because, like I said, the rumors is, oh, he's going to cost Cody at Mania. He'll come out and cost. Would there be enough reaction to MJF? Would there be enough fans there that would really know who MJF is?
Oh, yeah.
In Philadelphia, yes.
Yes.
Yes, there
Yeah,
would be.
especially
Oh, yeah.
Philadelphia.
But they're saying they could bring that and have like a cross. I mean, they could mention AEW or maybe not the word, but
the only crossover I want, and this is a feel good thing. The only crossover between AEW and WWE I would like would be Goldust hands Cody Rhodes the championship if he wins.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah,
I would like
crossover.
that.
And then you're hearing as he's doing it, he's like, Dad would never be prouder. Like, just like Shawn Michaels saying, I'm sorry, I love you, before the Young Bucks decide to be, again, that pettiness and be like, oh, we got to say something fucking we don't love you, we hate you. Like, why? Make your own fucking moment. Don't tail off something. To me, that is what I hate about that company.
It's so crazy you brought up the Rhodes and Dusty. I just watched something earlier today. It was on one of my reels, and it was when Goldust and Cody were tag team. Goldust asked Cody to show him something. He was like, "Take me over here and show me how you do something." And he breathes in. He goes. Cody stops him. He's like, "Don't breathe like that." And Goldust walks away all sad, and then fucking Dusty comes up out of nowhere with a fucking blonde curly wig on.
Oh, I
He's
watched
like,
that today too.
Yeah, he's like, "My kids are
fuck
weird." And it brought such a smile to my face. And then it sent me into when Dusty was playing basketball for a charity game that they were doing. And he was out there fucking draining threes. He was getting the rebound, throwing it back up. Like they were like, Dusty Rhodes was the MVP of this game. I don't know. They don't build wrestlers like Dusty anymore. You know, the entertainment value and the way that they were able to draw you in and make it a really entertaining for the average viewer.
Too scripted now.
But is it because it's the performer's fault, or is it the way you're viewing the product nowadays is completely different than what it was 30 years ago?
The product evolved, so the product was going to change. I don't know. I guess I put it more at my own fault for wanting specific, I guess, reactions or specific ways for them to entertain me when I should be more open to it and just allow it to happen how it's going to fucking happen.
How do you think it works now? I mean, like I said, they use social media quite a bit. Do you think like the writers like are messaging or talking to the talent saying, hey, like Drew, I need you to go on Instagram and do a quick promo. I mean, how much is it all written down? They have to remember those lines, or is like, hey, ad-lib this. These are the two topics I really need you to. I mean, it's just really gotten really good, as in how they're using social media, tweets, and or X,
Well,
and
I
different things.
see what you're saying on that, and I honestly, if you, my opinion would be that you have a collaboration with some writers, and you have talents like Drew, who I think he understands social media. He understands how to. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, I'm pretty sure he was a big reason for bringing the sword out. I'm pretty sure he's the one who was like, "Hey, this goes with this," or it's an homage to something, whatever for
William
him.
Wallace.
Well,
The
okay, see,
Claymore.
there you
It's the
go.
Claymore for William Wallace. It's the
Okay,
exact duplicate sword
I
that
Mhm.
William
guarantee
Wallace
he was
used.
the one who pushed the bringing the sword because of that, and there's a link there. So when you ask that, Terry, that's my whole thinking, that there's certain ones who understand how to get that extra bit of fandom out of social media, and you have a great, I mean, you pay writers a good chunk of money to be able to write for these guys.
Hmm.
I mean, Seth, I think he's more of an ad lib guy. I think they probably give him a direction of like where to go, and then allow him to get there however he does that. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just amazing how much I think promos have really done really well. I mean,
yeah, I would say so too.
over the board.
Promo work. Yeah.
I honestly think pro wrestlers are just like any other athlete, right? Like the ones that have the capability to do it, they're gonna involve a lot less direction. They're just are gonna be given like maybe some guidelines or some advice, or
Yeah.
be like, hey, like if you can't, like we want you to hit at least these bullet points.
Mhm.
But when there's people that need that extra work around the edges, be like, oh, okay, well you can pass in the ring, but to help kind of like your promo skills, we want you to kind of start kind of just reading the script for a bit, finding out a little bit more of your comfort zone, and then as you're finding out more about who you are, let that naturally play out.
I think that's how you got Austin Theory where he's at.
I think that's exactly what they're doing with Maxine Dupree right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
And I can actually vouch for what Parrish had just said, because yesterday I was at the CWE show with Jimmy Jacobs and Savio Vega, and you've seen like all these younger talent just picking the brain off of Jimmy Jacobs and Savio Vega throughout the day on how to do certain things in the ring, how to be a character in the ring, how to cut a promo. And you see Savio and Jimmy just giving that information off on how they did it, what they should do, how they can mold themselves, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And honestly, like, just thinking of the talents and Bubba Duke, I know you probably got some insight on this, but just think of the talents such as like Austin Theory, um, Grayson Waller, and how they're more geared towards like the social media generation. Um, I know me and you, Bubba, we've talked about those guys. We've talked about Drew.
Yeah.
Drew's another guy, like I said earlier. His social media is on a different level than some of the other guys, and I think it's an ode to him that keeps him relevant. Because I mean,
Yes.
honestly, if it wasn't for that one that we talked about, what
Yep.
was it, a couple months ago with Seth Rollins?
Yeah, it was like it was over a month and a half ago now, where he's like just went off on Seth Rollins on his social media because you're not paying attention to me. Like, Seth, I'm
Mhm.
here. Like, you gotta pay attention. And then the next episode of Raw, Seth literally just walked by him, and he was like standing there going, "Did you see, like,
Yeah.
I know I'm not John Cena because my name's Drew McIntyre. Like, you just literally walked by me like I wasn't even here."
Yeah. And I remember that one kind of grabbed you more when
Dude.
he released it. And it just came right off of an episode where we talked about Drew heavily and saying we
This
needed
guy.
something from him. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
I
he gave
literally
it to
said
us.
he either needs to. Yeah, it was because WWE needs to do something with him. Like, give him this push and get his contract signed, or let the dude go do his own thing. And then, literally, like the next day, he
Yeah.
was on social media blasting Seth Rollins. Like, and to me, that takes the Drew McIntyre character just that extra step higher when he starts doing his social media thing. Because if you listen to the promos he gives with a mic in his hand compared to when he's got the phone, like he's like this,
Yeah.
the Scottish, you really hear the thick accent when he's got his phone.
Yeah. I
As
agree with
where
that.
when he's got a mic, it's just not as thick.
It's almost
And
diluted.
it's kind of like washed out a bit, yeah. And when he gets that accent, and he gets like he's motivated to give a speech or give that quote unquote, as we call it, a promo,
Yeah.
his heart really comes out, and you really see that he's genuine in like, listen, guys, this is really pissing me off that I feel he's
He
not paying attention to me. He's just
he
thinking he can
brings it to
overlook
life.
me. Yeah, like
Yeah.
just incredible. That's why I'm a Drew McIntyre guy.
Well, yeah,
More
and I
so.
remember you telling me that because me and you kind of we our friendship kind of started sprouting off from this whole Drew McIntyre thing because
Yeah.
I was telling you I was like, dude, like he needs something because I'm an average fan and I'm
Yeah.
not connecting with him, and you brought up uh, that yeah the WWE needs to shit or get off the pot with him, and
Yes.
then all of a sudden he
100%.
hit us with this promo. And best the next part of this goes to you,
Yeah.
speaking on that, and knowing the amount of editing and social media stuff you do for your shows. Did that Drew McIntyre promo, did that grab you more than, let's say, his normal ones that where he's in the ring?
Oh, 100% yes, because that was a mix of Drew the character and Drew the real person at the same time.
Like
I
Bubba
totally
was
got
saying.
that vibe.
Yeah.
Totally got that vibe off of that.
Yep.
See, and that's what I started appreciating about him. He brought lifeblood to the character, to
A
the
sense a sense of realism, you know?
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Terry, are you a big McIntyre fan? I know you're a WWE guy. Live by WWE, die by WWE. Yeah, we all get it.
I was on the same boat as you, Josh, with like, he wasn't grasping the whole,
Yeah.
whenever he was doing the sword,
Mm-hmm.
he was a character. He was a Scottish Highlander,
Hmm.
and okay, um, didn't talk on the mic much, uh, that, or he was in a feud with Sheamus. I mean, that feud was pretty cool, him and Sheamus, but I couldn't really understand it because they were talking, in Scotland fighting, they're like, it was more of an
It
ethnic, like we're fighting
it
Scottish and
seemed rushed too. Like from
yeah.
my perspective, it seemed like they tried to rush that storyline.
They pushed it too fast.
But
Definitely.
as soon as
Yeah.
they, changed it, he started doing things on Instagram. Once he brought a sense of humor and brought that shirt out with CM Punk, and
Hmm.
started jabbing at him to build for a Punk McIntyre. I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to see that match. Okay, that's actually
Yeah.
pretty good. I like that he's, you know, not letting anybody forget about it because he knows Punk's going to come back probably sooner than what we think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
would think that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he's coming back this Monday.
To
yeah,
actually wrestle though, like that's kind of what we're
No,
talking about.
I
Yeah.
know.
but no, he's like I said, a lot of superstars have upped their game recently, as in where man, their promos. I know
Mm-hmm.
Karrion Cross is kind of at a standstill. He's not doing, but man, that promo they did in the fans out in the stands with nobody out there, kind of like what whatever he did there was better than what Sami Zayn was doing up there in the fans. His promo where he was talking about things and kind of hitting that I thought he was hitting at Bianca Belair and Montez Ford at the very end, like they were going to be their target or something. I don't know, but anyway, I don't know exactly what, but it was very cryptic, and I mean they're still, and I don't know if he's trying to drive a wedge between Street Profits, because he was talking about how uh, not Montez but his partner is he is making Montez a star when it should be him.
I don't know who he is.
Can't think of the Montez's partner.
I would say
Montez-
use your phone, but
Dawson.
Yeah, Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just think it's very interesting. I'm hoping. I mean, Cross just needs some ring work, promo.
Cross needs
something.
a whole new fucking personality.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand. Yeah, the promo he did recently was decent.
it's more real.
It would, yeah, it gave another element to him. But at the end of the day, if you were to ask me strictly about Karrion Kross, I want to hit mute. I want to hit next. I want to hit next
Fast
chapter.
forward.
I'm ready to just move on, because here's my problem with Karrion Kross. My issue with him is that character has been done to death, and now it's just another rehash of the same woo woo woo. I got some satanic cult leader that tells me what to do.
Right.
Burr, burr, burr. I'm a big muscle guy. Look at me. I got darkness behind me. Woo. Who gives a shit, dude? Give me your average guy.
But I feel that's all he knows, so that's all he can do.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Like-
if that's what we're gonna get from him, that's what we're gonna get from him, and
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna.
yeah, it's just that same old, because that's all he knows. He's like,
But
I'm going to be this guy for the whole career because that's what Undertaker. No, Undertaker didn't do that for his whole career.
no, he evolved, and
Like-
we've talked about that multiple
Yeah.
times. And it's
just-
ridiculous, because even think of it.
Totally.
Like, this is what pisses me off, is that he's got such a push behind him with the writers, with production, with all those guys. They push him because we see him on television. But you had guys like back in the day, like Billy Kidman. Okay, he
Holy.
evolved from Sick Boy Billy Kidman to Billy
Yeah.
Kidman. Was he with Tori Wilson at one point, or
Yeah.
one of the more
The filthy animals.
Yeah, okay, but there was an evolution, right? Best, you would agree with that, right?
And it was almost sort of immediate, because after the flock came to an end, Billy Kidman was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I need to find my own footing now."
Exactly. But he
Yeah.
found it, and he went with it. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden we get him in WWE. And I was a fan of that. I was legit so stoked that Billy Kidman was on the roster that was coming over. And then we got like half a year run with him actually having storylines behind him. And yeah,
Yeah.
was it pretty much with Jamie Noble? Yeah. But I'm sorry, Jamie Noble was entertaining as a character, and Jamie Noble can fucking wrestle.
Mhm.
The dude knew how
Yeah.
to fucking move in a ring, and he knew how to keep a group of people who pay to watch your product entertained. When
And
he
once-
would, yeah, go ahead, Ben.
And once again, after that 6 months with Jamie Noble and whoever, Billy Kidman once again evolved, found his footing again, formed a tag team with Paul London, and a fantastic tag team at that.
Yeah, it was a great tag team to watch, but then all of a sudden, right after that, it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended leaving. And I mean, but that's my issue. That's where I come across when I see a guy like Karrion Kross, and I go,
Yeah.
you need that footing. You need to find that next level to push yourself up. And we just get a remake of, dude, they're doing that story right now in the indies. They're doing that story
Yep.
over in AEW. They're doing that story. Like, I could throw a fucking dart at a world indie promotion and fucking hit it and be like, hey, are you guys doing this? And they're like, oh, fuck yeah, we've been running this story for 4 years now. It's like, come the fuck on, man. Like, give
mean,
me
he
something else.
he has to do something quick. He has to do something quick with his character because his character. Just say if Malachi Black comes back,
See?
Yeah,
he
same thing. Yep.
he might, but Malachi can pull it off a lot
Yeah,
better than what
exactly.
Cross. It would
Well,
be more like
Malachi is
Cross need
pulling
to
it
join
off better
him.
than
Yeah, I was gonna
Cross.
say he's been doing it since he got there.
Yeah, when he went over to AEW, he's been doing this exact fucking.
Yeah.
Except he's the cult leader in this
Here's
one.
the thing too. I don't know if you guys have been watching one. I can't remember his real name. The character name is Bo Dallas. Can't remember his real name.
I was just gonna bring him up, Bubba, because he's doing it. He's doing it awesome too on YouTube.
Okay, but he is actually coming back.
Yeah, they're working a storyline.
Yeah, they're
WWE
building a
is
storyline right now
with him.
But I watched a video, and I can't remember if I sent it to y'all, but he's handpicked individuals from both shows to carry
All three
out-
shows.
But regardless, they're carrying out his plan based off of his brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's continuing his brother's story. Now, like I'm getting goosebumps and shit just talking about it because it's Bray Wyatt, and I like that.
Bubba,
character,
let me
but he's
ask you
continuing
before
that
you
crazy.
Yeah, before you go deep into that, let me ask you something though. Is he continuing the story without Bray, or do you think that they're capitalizing off the fact that Bray was such a movement that
Definitely.
See, I think
It's a little bit of both.
from what I understand, I think that they're just continuing what they were going to do if Bray was still around, because this whole idea was like talked about. Bray was
it
giving
wasn't.
messages.
They definitely have been conversing for a while about how this was going to go down. For sure, they're definitely taking that storyline, and we still may see clips of the Fiend from past, like, because I know they have some shit that's been recorded.
Yeah.
Okay, so they could still use these little clips of the Fiend doing some crazy shit, whatever, and just continuing that story with, instead of it being the Fiend present, it'll be whatever Bo Dallas's new character is called.
Was his last message decrypted?
No, I don't think it has been.
Because do you guys recall hearing that after he passed? It was like a few weeks after that. There was a video released, and at the end of it, it said that there was a message from Bray, and to obviously follow the rabbit to get the encryption. But like, I was wondering that the other week, did anybody crack that code yet? Has it been released?
I haven't heard anything.
No, see, the last video I saw was him laying claim that he got Sean Spears in on it and all that too.
Like, we don't know. We don't have a clue who these other
clue,
characters
really.
are, who's been involved in the storyline. We don't. For all we know, this whole cryptid message could be just a play, because Bo Dallas is the only one that can understand.
To keep the story going.
To keep the story going.
I got what you're saying there.
So, and that's kind of what Bray was about, was being cryptic and being mysterious with shit and making you think. So that's where I think now his brother's stepping in and just continuing the story with a bit of his twist to it. Because obviously, like we said, they've talked back and they're brothers. They talk all the time. Don't tell me when Bo had left and Bray was still there that they weren't talking about, hey, how can I get you to come back?
Yeah, this was a work. Like, well, it's not a work, but this was in the works
between the two of them.
Yeah, and now that you have somebody like Triple H running the ship who actually believed in a
Loves
lot of
that
what
shit.
Bray. Yeah, exactly. And plus,
Loves it.
come on, who doesn't love that type of entertainment? I love the supernatural when WWE does it.
Why?
I mean, that's what made me love the Undertaker. I mean, fuck,
Exactly. I was just
when
gonna
he
say, what made the
crucified
Undertaker?
Austin, come on,
That was
man.
cool.
That was,
That was cool.
yeah, my parents were freaking out. They're like, "What the fuck are you watching?" It's like, that's the Undertaker. That's what he does.
Yeah.
What the fuck are
See, my
you?
old man was the same way. Because he watched stuff when like way back in the day. Like he
Yeah.
literally had to go to the show to watch it, or you were watching it on this tiny little black and white tube TV thing. The first time he seen Undertaker he was like, "Whoa, this guy's crazy, but really, wow! Like I want to see what
Mhm.
he's gonna do." And then when they
Yeah.
came to our hometown, my old man bought tickets and went. And I wish I could find it. He actually got the ticket with the signature of a few of the wrestlers that were there. Obviously, the Undertaker at that point he didn't sign shit because he wouldn't talk to you. He wouldn't come
Yeah,
near you. That was his
he wanted to
character.
keep kayfabe.
Yeah, which is what made the Undertaker the Undertaker. Now, that's why we love the Bray Wyatt shit so much because Bray Wyatt took that Undertaker level and just went, yards above it with the crazy costumes and
Oh
the
yeah.
storylines. And just he like literally would reach out and be like, listen to what I'm saying to you. Follow the buzzers. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck did that ever mean? Really?
Dude,
You
the
know what I
first
mean?
time
There's
I
so many
got
different interpretations.
exactly, and the first time
So,
I seen him live,
yeah, dude.
that it was during the big lantern thing, and my wife was looking at me because I'm geeking out. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
he's fucking here, and she's getting fucking hammered because she could give two shits less. She just got me tickets, and plus
Yeah.
Randy Orton was like the second time I got to see Randy Orton, and I'm
Oh,
fucking losing
nice.
my mind. It was him, AJ Styles, and Bray in a triple threat match, and
Dude.
I'm losing my mind. And my wife is looking over at me. She's fucking drinking. She's like, "What is going on?" And I'm like, "You don't understand the amazingness that's in the ring right now. Like this
Yeah.
is a
And that's
fucking Christmas gift,
I wish I could have seen Bray Wyatt live. I do.
dude.
I wish I did.
It was
Yeah.
something else."
But given the opportunity now to see what's going to happen with his brother and
Mhm.
this whole different twist that they're throwing in here now, if I get a chance to see or go to an event close enough, you damn well better believe I'm buying tickets because I've never been to a authentic wrestling other than like what we have here in our hometown. That's
You've never
different. I've
been
never
to
been
a
to a professional
WWE?
wrestling. No.
We need to pop your cherry.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Even
Oh,
the
yeah.
dark shows, I love them.
I'm sure.
Sometimes
I'm
I
gonna geek
prefer
out,
a
but
dark show, just because there's so much
Yeah.
fun. Like there was one dark show I went to when I was in high school, where Raven comes out and I'm wearing my ECW Raven shirt, and he
Dude,
fucking
no way.
points right at me. And if he was on TV, he wouldn't have done that. But he pointed at me and he's like, EC fucking W. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
The next guy to come out in the next match was Jericho. Jericho
fuck
comes
off.
out, he sees it, and he's like, fuck yeah, ECW. I was like, oh my God, yeah, Jericho, yes, ECW. So, like to
Yeah.
me, you get more of that. What we talk about, the real,
Interaction.
yeah, the interaction, the real, the human side to them. Terry, you've been to multiple shows.
Multiple.
What's been your favorite experiences?
Uh,
You little fucking potato chip.
My favorite, my thing is the crowd. Like I said, Allstate. If you've never been to an Allstate arena, and I said it took me several years to. Like I said, I live 3 hours away from it. I hate driving to Chicago, but I'd go. It's outside of Chicago, but still.
It's Rosemount.
Once in our area, we don't get pay-per-views or Raws or SmackDowns. They're And I went to a house show. It was cool. Went to a few. Okay. And then I went to one. I forget what one of my first show at Allstate, but I was like, oh, I'm done going to house shows. But I've been to a house show last year in Fort Wayne, and they have completely changed my mind on house shows because they have upped the production on them, as in like they have a freaking mini ramp and the whole freaking like an entrance, and it's not a curtain, it's actual like an entrance, and the music plays and the lights, and I'm like fog, and like holy crap. And, I mean, so I'm like, so I'm actually going to Fort Wayne next month, April. They're having a Sunday Stunner. It's after WrestleMania, but I got tickets to go to see that. So I'm going to that. But yeah, the crowd at Allstate, man, they're so loud. I mean, the atmosphere is crazy. People are going nuts.
It sucks to go there just because of all the shit you got to deal with. But once you get there, a Chicago crowd is so fucking fun for wrestling.
Like, I hear it on TV, and I'm just like, I have ADHD, so when energy levels change, I feel it. Like I physically feel it.
Oh, you would feel
that shit coming through the TV
person that comes out in Chicago.
Right, like I feel it coming through the TV.
Everybody knows.
From a personal perspective, I can vouch for Bubba because the amount of energy that came out of him at the last CWE show, not the one I was at last night, but the one prior,
yeah,
Bubba was just, he was something else that night.
Like, I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected when I'm doing this shit with these guys, and I get a little excited, don't get me wrong, but the energy in that place, because it was a new venue for the group.
Oh yeah.
And they had screens up, and they had videos playing, and just everything was on cue. It was and I'm sitting with OMD, and a couple times OMD's like, bro, you okay? Like, do you need to smoke a joint or something to calm down? Like, because it was just the atmosphere. I just couldn't help but be part of it. And literally, I was part of a match with a couple of gentlemen. Just crazy. The first thing I wanted to ask was, Chris, I know you went to the one last night. What was that place like last night? Was it pretty similar to the one before?
More so, man. It was just fire all night.
Was it more people too?
Oh, yeah. We had to, about 5 minutes before the show, we had to throw down more seats.
That's awesome. I know when the last show before that, there was some spots that were it was empty, but not empty.
Right.
But more people sat on these sides than the entrance and behind where I was sitting. But
Terry, have you ever been to indie shows?
Yeah, they did one in Ligonier. Some small organization. I think they came out from South Bend, and they rented one of the buildings downtown, and they put a ring in. They only had enough seats for maybe 20, 30 people. I mean, it was it's one of the corner buildings. It was tight, and we went to that and watched that, and they did that for a few weeks, and then they stopped. But
you know what? I might get with you for a show up in Michigan. Me and you'll go, and we'll go backstage, and you can hang out with some of the wrestlers and see how they are. It's a different world.
Oh,
man.
it's completely different.
It's
very
so much
different.
fun too. I like going back there because usually when I go to a show, I do like a write up, and I'll do talking about who I talk to and things like that. And usually I find a guest or two to join me on a show in the future. But what I love about being back there and doing that is hearing exactly what you were talking about, Bubba. Hearing the excitement out of their voices,
Yeah.
preparing for the match, talking about the match, talking about what they want to do, and if they got a big spot in the match, about how much that match would be um, cool to join and be a part of and talk to and hear the evolution of the
Oh
idea
God.
and then see it come off and be made whole is so it's so
Yeah.
satisfying and so like just
Yeah.
it's a whole
Thank
nother element.
Yeah, thank you, JJ, for bringing that up because I ran into that a few times last night. And me being the commentator, I still had to be cool, calm, and collected. But in the back of my mind, I was like, "Oh, that's what he was talking about," you know?
Exactly. Those are
Yeah.
my favorite moments.
When that light bulb
Every
goes.
single
"Ping."
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When you because I mean I'll go there usually when I go to a show, I go anywhere from 3 to 4 hours early.
Yep.
And I go and if they need me to help put chairs out, I'll put them out. If they need me to help, put the ring together, bring shit in, I do it.
Yep.
But the rest of the time after it's all up and I'm sitting there and I'm watching all these ideas come out and everything, it's like it's like what I could compare to as a director on like a movie set where you're sitting there and you might not want to give too much direction because you know the talent that's in front of you. You just want to, there's the ring, make me a show. And just building off the concept of 4 posts, 3 ropes, sets of ropes that run across, and 2 guys in a ring is it's a cool thing to watch unfold in front of you. Parrish, I know you have a big career of this. What's it like from your perspective, um, starting a show, being like figuring out a match?
Like the process of like coming together for a match, or like
Yeah,
just
like
being in the first match of a show.
no, just
Just-
the process of putting together a
I'll,
match.
I'll
Like,
put it this.
yeah,
I'll
go
put it
ahead,
this way.
Bubba.
I'm the promoter. You're fighting JJ.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Here's
aware
what I
of
want.
it
You're
was.
going over. Go.
Oh, I pin him. No.
Man, we don't even get cool spots.
No spots. Like you got to work. That's what he's trying to say. Is how do you go from okay?
I think what
coming
you
up to
want to
you.
do, like I'm a big proponent of. I'm cool having some ideas of what we want to do, right, and how to get to, and how to build it, right. Like I more want to know what I'm facing with an audience before I determine how much I'm willing to put up. Because if they give me everything, then damn well they're getting everything.
I got you.
But if
Okay.
I'm going out and I see 5 people in the audience, well, I'm not going to do a Canadian destroyer on the outside, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to do dumb things. Now, am I going to go and give them a show that they will remember and tell 5 more people? Absolutely. But you can go about that a different way. You don't have to give them a cool move. You can give them a more interactive moment to where they can take that with them. So I think that really separates a worker from a wrestler, right? Like when you're working with someone, you're also working with the conditions, you're working with the situations. Now, if a booker or a promoter says, hey, guess what? I'm going to pay you set amount of dollars, but I want you to be doing this, then you find a way to get that done because that is the job that you're being asked. That's a completely different circumstance.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is.
if you're given 100% freedom on what you do, and for me, I care enough about making sure that from bell to bell, it's a good performance. It's something that it's good. I want quality, not just quantity. Like just because I can give you an opening match doesn't mean I want to give you a bad one. I mean, I can give you 10 opening matches in the next 10 shows, but those 10 matches are going to be good matches because they're going to be shows that kick off the show, and they're going to be shows at the end of the night. You're like, oh, you know what? I actually remember their show because of how I felt. I want the people
Yeah.
to care. I want them to be hot. So by the time the second match comes and the third match in, they're ready to like go. You have to understand your spot too on the show.
Mhm.
Now they say a real wrestler, real performer says, "Hey, if I'm not last, I want to be first," and that's because it's true. You have a lot more freedom in the first match than you do match 2, match 3, match 4, match 5 because you're dealing with a lot more unknown. And you got to really just have that all in. Now, if you go and give them everything they've ever wanted to see in wrestling, well, just think now they got 5 more matches that night. All you're doing is fucking the people in the back over because
Yeah.
now what are they going to do?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
pissed because you just set the bar instead of
And
here. It's
now I would say it's different than if you're at a WrestleMania, you're at a big worldwide event, something like that, where you want 5 stars across the board. Sure. But when you actually want to do it the right way on a
Mhm.
daily basis, then you gotta give the fans all that they want, but you'll also have to understand that you're capable of giving them more of a main event match, but you also want to leave them wanting more as well. That's the whole point of professional wrestling. You
yes.
can't just can't give them everything they want right away just because they want it. You have to make them feel that they got it, right? That's your job as a wrestler. You get to manipulate your audience that way. Just like when you thought, hey, it was either Cody wins or I'm leaving, and Cody loses at WrestleMania 39. Well, guess what? All those people are fucking back tenfold now this year. So,
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
And we got the Lou, a legend himself, saying hello, legends. The Lou
Wow.
is definitely he's a great creator out there, taking a little time off from creating, but still a fantastic human. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
I see what you guys are saying, and a lot of it circles back to that the overall human emotion, and that's how you get over in this
Yes.
industry.
100%.
And I like talking about this because I can also go into the idea that how we were talking about the press conferences and the promo work that is being done. Um, have you guys noticed that the wrestling, like Terry said earlier, the promos and things have gotten way better. They've just have. I mean, we talked about Drew McIntyre's promo
Oh,
for
yeah.
a while. Um, but have you noticed how like the movie industry when they do the press circuits and everything, they're not as gripping as they used to be. Like there used to be, you would hear at least once a year about one of the actors maybe getting some type of shitty question asked towards them and they go off, and it was kind of appealing. I believe Johnny Depp had that when the first Pirates movie. I know Emma Stone has had it at a couple, and it was just humorous the way that they would go at people. And now it's like the wrestling industry has taken that over, and when they do their press promo shit after a pay-per-view, which I mean CM Punk has been a
Famous.
major, yeah, he's been a major opponent in that for the past couple years. And then now you go into like what WWE's doing, where they set up um,
Yeah.
the press after a pay per view. Are you guys fans of this evolution in wrestling, where they added that feature, or is it something that you guys could live without?
Hmm. Yeah.
I like
That's
it.
It's very
Um,
hit and miss with me
Okay,
right
hit and
now.
miss. Terry likes it.
I like it because of the whole fact that I get to you kind of have that sit down with them. I mean, I wish I could be there to ask them questions, but
Yeah.
you have people ask them questions and they're answering the best of their abilities. Of course, they can't give out too much, but it feels like you get a little bit more. Like what I would, I'm not seeing these guys every day, or so seeing a little bit of sit down and kind of seeing what the direction, like when Triple H comes out and says their questions to him. I find it really interesting. I'm all about getting inside scoops of anything.
Yeah, more insight into it, because you like the levels that are being produced now with your superstars, as opposed to just being whoever the fuck they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Earthquake and those guys. They weren't really.
God.
There was
Typhoon.
nothing really. Yeah, I wasn't really like, oh man, I wonder what their social media would be like. Because I mean,
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
it would be. I mean, I think about it with Junkyard Dog. Could you imagine him on social media back in his heyday?
Wow.
I mean, it would be fun.
Could you
Hulk Hogan
imagine?
would be
Dude.
fucking nuts back then.
Can you imagine if they told the
JJ.
Undertaker that he had to be on Twitter
Oh,
during his
God.
like how much that would wreck the gimmick?
Yeah.
It would.
Oh, to destroy it.
JJ, back then for Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan's nuts on social media now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but think about him having the amount of fans he had back then who knew nothing of his insanity.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
They just thought he was a buff blonde dude who fucking took vitamins and said some prayers. I mean, it was Ultimate Warrior. Think about it. Think about the drunk
Oh my
Twitterers that you would have
Macho
with the
Man.
Ultimate Warrior. Yeah,
The
Macho Man.
The
Oh
Four
my
Horsemen. Could you imagine that one?
Dude,
If Ultimate Warrior had a Twitter, they would have the self-destruction of Ultimate Warrior's Twitter with
Oh,
Christian just making fun of it the best, like
Yeah.
he did in the movie.
I mean, even go back to George the Animal Steel. Could you imagine
Jesus.
him on a fucking Twitter account just fucking going to town?
all you can
about
see is
how
him doing this.
fucking sitting there. God, there would be so many disturbing.
Could you imagine Doink the Clown?
Oh,
No.
Jesus.
I would be terrified to even come across the tweet. of his.
Doinks would be just straight up prank videos, man.
I think he would just do gifs or
Yeah,
Jesus.
I could see that.
like
I could
But
see that.
wrestling wouldn't be what it is now if they had what we have now then.
Yeah,
But like to me, this is why I got into pro wrestling. Though it was everyone loved reading a comic book, but then I would tune into WWE in the mid '90s, and it was like watching a comic book on television. And I'm
very
like,
true.
Mhm.
screw this reading, I get to watch it. And
Yeah.
it's like I've always been a seeing is believing kind of a thing. I need to see it better to understand it than I can just you can read something. I could read the same sentence as any one of us here, and I could just get a completely different picture of what's going on than either one of you guys.
Oh,
Oh,
very
And
true.
to be in school where
Mhm.
that gets criticized and judged the way that is by a teacher because they know exactly what it is. They're subscribed to the book club for dorks. Who like
Book club for dorks.
That was
Like-
great.
like it's like come on. It's like I'm a 14-year-old child with a wild imagination because you guys want to say the world is my oyster and Willy Wonka looks like he's on crack. But then all of a sudden I'm getting judged because 2 4s in the 7th years ago, I think of something different than what actually happened. And instead of you actually educating me, I get told that my imagination is bush league. It's like,
And
hey, school, like I got an ass. Here's to the moon show. Like,
Wow.
come on.
Willy Wonka's on crack. That explains the Oompa Loompas.
It's a little orange men, man. What was that?
That explains a lot in that movie. I gotta watch that again and just go through it going, remember, dude, this is his version of what he's seen because he's on crack.
But
yeah.
but then you get older and you find out Doink was Pennywise on crack. So it's like
Yeah.
completely.
Oh shit!
Instead of a balloon, he had a flower that sprayed water, which was very PG. But backstage it would have something else, probably.
Very true.
Or he's getting lines of cocaine from Dink. Yeah, works in so many ways.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, we have Terry. He's getting ready to sign off. So, Terry, why don't you let the people know where they can find you and all your witty remarks that you're out there making?
Just look up the Volkster Show on YouTube for game videos. There's nothing recent right now. That's coming in the future. You can find Monday's Raw review and preview on that channel. And then, like I said, I have PS4 content from a couple years back. But new material will be coming out soon. Then I have a TikTok for Volkster
Yeah,
Show.
the Bulkster Show.
Volkster Show.
TikTok.
You can look me on there for all my crazy stuff, but I am so tired.
Shut up.
I'm glad we all got together. I'm glad to have Bubba actually say more than a couple words, I mean, we always get the thumbs up. That's what we get. He gets the
That
thumbs
is what
up.
we get. Well, Terry, like always, it's always fun to have you here on the Window Lickers.
Yep.
You go get your big boy rest, okay, buddy?
I will. Night,
All
guys.
right.
Stay away
Thank
from the
you,
fridge,
Terry.
man.